Okay, so now it's time to show you some of the features that we have under the Modify menu with this abomination of a topper that we have before us. So the first thing that we have is a press-pull function, which under normal circumstances might look very similar to a normal extrude function, but what this does is it preserves face values and can extrude non-normal faces. So for instance, the tip of the topper right here, I can go ahead and press pull this like 0.5 or so. Yeah, let's go make 6, 5. Yeah, that's just about flush with the side. Okay, and I can go ahead and change the face of that. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and extrude like a completely flat face, then I would just use extrude, and that's how I would do that. No problems on that one. Other things that I have under here that I use all the time are going to be your chamfer and fillet. So fillet is going to round your edge. Chamfer is going to turn them into a 45-degree angle, as we've kind of discussed before. You can go ahead and just select these two, all these sides right here. Let's go ahead and say 1. Yeah, look at that. Rounds all the sides. You have all different kinds of options for the length and such. Okay. Uh, so a chamfer is super useful too, because for 3D printers, one of their constraints is overhangs. So for me, whenever I'm printing something that's going to be printed from, let's say, the bottom up, I never use one of these fillets because it's not going to be able to print something that has this steep of an overhang. I always, instead, choose to go ahead and go the route of a chamfer because the 3D print has the steepest overhang of like 45 degrees on this. Looks like it has a little bit less because of the previous edit that we had on here, um, but your 3D prints will survive at a 45-degree angle, so you won't have any sagging or anything else involved. So let's just go in and do those because they don't look good. Um, Shell, you can go ahead and make something hollowed out. It's not too shabby. Draft, I really don't use this that much. Scale, it's incredibly useful because you can go ahead and take whatever object you want and make it slightly bigger, smaller, based upon whatever point you want. So for me, I could, instead of using this point, I could instead go ahead and select the origin so that it's a uniform extrusion. And then 1.1. Yeah. I shouldn't say extrusion. Uh, yeah. Expansion, growth. Um, I also use a combine function, so if I have multiple bodies, which in this case I don't, but let's just say real quick that I want to go ahead and create this. I don't know. Yeah, sure. You're here. I've never used this feature before. I'm just using it for you guys. And then I want to go ahead and move it. Okay, yeah, sure. You're fine. I'm going to move you. Where are you in space and time? Okay, here you are. Yes. 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 Look at the sphere. It is now merging into my other body. Now, if I wanted to, I can go ahead and click OK, because I need to solidify that. Since these two bodies are intersecting each other, I can go ahead and then select this, which is going to go ahead and select a target body and a tool body, which is going to combine the two. And then I can hit OK. And now, bada bing, bada boom, they are both one thing. All right. Offset face, this is incredibly useful as well. Replace face, I've never used that. Split face can be quite useful. Split body is also very useful too. Because let's say that I want to actually print out this top right here. Well, the biggest problem that I can see right now is that it's not going to print well. There's no flat face on it that's going to offer itself to the print bed very easily. So what I would do for something that's like this is I would actually make this the bottom so that this would continue to print up the Z, and then I would print this top handle separate. So the way that I would do that is modify, split body. I'm going to go ahead and select that as the body to split. In the splitting tool, I'm going to go ahead and select this face. Bada bing, bada boom. I now have another piece that I can go ahead and begin to flip and then, you know, place this on the print bed, place that on the print bed, and both those should survive. I'd probably go ahead and if I wanted this to survive more on the print bed, I would probably actually add a chamfer, or not a chamfer, fillet on the bottom of it to go ahead and give it just a little less of an overhang on it. But yeah, that's what I would do to help that survive. Now let's see here. Silhouette split, never used that before. Move, the key command for that is just M, Control M. And then, this is very important, there are two different functions that you have. So you have delete and you have remove. There's a very big difference between the two of them. Delete might actually cause some ripple effects later on down your timeline. And I avoid using delete at like all costs. Instead, I'll use remove because it will still keep things in the timeline. And it's going to perform the exact same thing as delete. It's just a little bit more friendly to Fusion 360. And then there's appearance, which you can also just select A, and that will pull up your appearance menu. This is how I do the coloring for everything that we do. Everything is automatically by default colored to steel, but you can very easily go ahead and go through and make entire bodies gold, for instance, to further advance the abomination that we've created. Let's see here. And is there anything else that's of value in here? Nope, I don't believe so. There's the assemble functions. I typically don't use these, but they are useful if you know what you're doing with them. I just haven't really gotten around to it yet. Your construct. So this can be incredibly useful, and I'm going to tell you about this, but I'm not going to go through in detail and show you every single thing, because this is a bit more of an advanced technique that whenever you get to it, you'll understand it. If you need to go ahead and make an offset plane like you saw me use before, then the offset plane is going to be used about 90% of the time. Plane at angle is making a plane at whatever angle you determine for the angle of attack. Tangent on plane, mid plane, those all exist. I never use them. Something that I have used before, though, is plane through 3 points. That comes in handy because you can go ahead and select 3 different points on whatever feature you have, whatever body you have, and create a plane off of it. Of course, in this application, it doesn't make any sense, but whenever you need it, you need it. Then there are the different ways that you can make axes. Great for whenever you're trying to make some kind of point for a revolution and you haven't done it off the origin. Point at vertex, yada yada yada. Yeah, that's pretty much it on construct. For inspect, really there are only 2 that I use in here, just the basic measurement tool and the section analysis. So section analysis is super useful whenever you want to come through here and you want to see how a body is interacting with the world around it. You can also use it to get to hidden features that are like inside here. For instance, if you have like magnets embedded into a 3D print, you would use section analysis to then be able to get to them. And then if you go ahead and stop it like this, but you keep that construction on there for, oh no, it's the analysis. If you keep that analysis on there, then you can actually make edits with that cut through. So if you have like a magnet embedded in it, not exactly what you want, you can make edits to it and still access it without having to rip apart the body and such. So very, very useful. And beyond that, that pretty much sums up everything that I use over here, besides one last thing. The last thing that I'll use is selection filter, which is going to allow you to customize what exactly you want to select. So if you drag and drop in Fusion 360, you can select everything on here. But let's say that like I just want to make chamfers on everything. Then instead, I would deselect everything and I would just choose body edges. And then I should only be able to see the body edges, and I can just say, okay, make a chamfer on everything if I wanted to. Notice how it's only selected the things that I can see. For instance, this part over here that I couldn't actually visibly see, it didn't select, but I can still select through and select it. So keep that in mind. If you drag and drop from this angle, looks like it does the exact same thing. Okay. Alrighty. And select all. Sweet. I'm now back to normal. Alright, let's get you queued up with some examples.